Okay, sure.
All right, I can't remember what we have you right here.
Okay, thank you very much.
You thirsty right now?
Yeah, I'd love a water if possible. Thank you.
Good morning again from the 41st Ryder Cup. Thankful to be joined by Mr. Justin Rose. Justin, welcome to your fourth Ryder Cup. You have quite a incredible record in foursomes and four-ball combined, 6 wins, 1 loss, and a couple of halves. What is it about this team game that really brings out the best in your game?
I don't know exactly. Obviously, I love it. I enjoy it. The Ryder Cup, I think, I get excited by it, and I prepare for it. It's a big deal to me, so it's something I do focus on. But when it comes down to actually why, that's I've been blessed with good partners, I guess. Obviously Ian Poulter, who has a stellar Ryder Cup record himself, he's been a partner of mine, and same in Henrik Stenson, I suppose. Those are the guys I've played the majority of golf with, both great competitors and great players. So obviously it's a team game, so you have to give a lot of your, a lot of the, a lot of respect to your partner, I suppose, from that point of view. But yeah, hopefully my game is somewhat transferable. It's, I'm fairly decent all round, so hopefully pretty easy to pair from that point of view.
I think it's safe to say you're one of the leaders in your team room. So does leadership begin in a Ryder Cup this week, or did it begin weeks and months ago?
I think in essence it begins this week. I think there's very, we're all very focused on our everyday lives, so to speak, for, especially with FedEx Cup and some very, very big events running into this, that, we all have to stay very focused on the job at hand. There might be the occasional get-together. For example, Darren got us all together at the Players' Championship, and you become very aware that the Ryder Cup is around the corner, so you may arrange 1 or 2 more dinners with the boys than you otherwise would. So it's done in a very soft way, but you're not changing the world at that point. I think it's all about really what happens in that team room this particular week. That is the important thing. Obviously, Europe's had a great 20-year run in the Ryder Cup, and I think a lot of that's to do with the respect that we pay to the guys that turn the tide for us. Your Sevis, your Lathabels, your Nick Faldos, Langers, guys like that. And I think that's the common thread for us. But every single Ryder Cup, there's a new set of faces, there's a new dynamic in the team room that you have to adjust to, and you have to get working. So I think it's very much on the week.
Okay, let's hit the floor over here and start with number 1, if we may.
Hello, Justin. How does the nationalism you experienced in Rio compare to the feelings of team spirit that you have this week?
Well, yeah, I think obviously when I got to Rio, it really hit me that I was part of something bigger than my individual sport. Being a part of Team GB and the wider goal of the team, and the medal tally and something like that was very inspiring. It kind of made you want to bring your best. It made you want to be accountable and give 100%. And I think from that point of view, it's very similar this week. You have 11 other guys, plus the captain and vice captain, that you really want to give 100% for. And I think that's where team golf, you become a better version of yourself for that particular week. You have more responsibility to just give 100%, make sure you're 100% prepared, and tick as many boxes in terms of recovery and preparation and giving 100% as you can. So whenever you play for yourself, obviously you do your best to have that mentality, but it's potentially easier to skip 1 or 2 things when it's just yourself you're relying upon, versus when you're trying to honor a bunch of other guys too.
Number 2, please.
Hi, Justin. You're obviously one of the people who've had your private TUEs published online by these hackers. Has that bothered you in the build-up to this, and are you worried that people might read that website and look at you with unfounded suspicion?
Honestly, I wasn't bothered one little bit about it. In fact, I didn't even know TUEs were kept private, if I was honest. It was a situation where we went through the right channels. It was for an anti-inflammatory that I took in May when I had herniated a disc, and it's just simply a medication that helps you reduce swelling, so you can kind of get on with your active rehab in the gym. So from my point of view, all the boxes were ticked. It's not like you take something and ask for forgiveness. You apply for it, it's granted, you do it, and it's, that whole procedure is in place for an athlete who's having medical issues, not someone who's trying to gain anything from it. So from my point of view, not concerned one little bit.
And number 3 in the back right, please.
Justin, can you talk a little bit about your stature in the European team? Did that maybe go up a notch or two after Gleneagles, how well you played there? And do you feel it suits you to have characters like Rory in the team maybe taking a bit of spotlight away from you?
Well, yeah, I think every Ryder Cup you play, your so-called stature goes up just based on an experience level. I think that anytime you have experienced guys in the team, the captain will look at you to pass on some of that experience to the younger guys coming through, because they're going to face the same challenges that we faced in our first Ryder Cup and second Ryder Cup. And because it's once every 2 years, you never get comfortable with it, but at the same time, you know what's coming. And I think that helps you deal with it probably in an easier way. So obviously, yeah, we have many, many great players in our team. We've had a great year from a Ryder Cup point of view. We've won some big tournaments within our team, and obviously having someone like Rory in the team he's still in the young category, but he's in the experienced category. So obviously, especially coming off the FedEx Cup, he's a guy that obviously he can absorb a lot of the pressure and run with it. He's pretty comfortable in that role.
And number 4, please.
Can you tell us a little about your relation to Henrik and what makes you such a successful pair in the Ryder Cup?
Yeah, I think we've got very similar golf games. We hit the ball a very similar distance, so we can work off one another from that point of view, from a clubbing point of view. Statistically, we play a similar game. We know fairways and greens, and ball striking would be our strength. So again, we feel the shots he hits, I'm comfortable looking at. It feels familiar to me. And then our caddies get along incredibly well. My caddy Fooch and his caddy Lordy. So when we get out there on the golf course, it's not just me and Henrik. It's a team of 4 out there that feel very comfortable together.
1 in the bottom right.
Justin, you spoke out in Rio about how much you enjoyed seeing athletes from other sports prepare and seeing what their motivation was. You had the same thing again last night with Paul O'Connell coming in. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience with Paul, and also just what it means to come outside the golf bubble a bit and see other sports people that way?
Yeah, and when it comes to peak performance, I think you can relate it to business, you can relate it to other sports. There's so many common threads that some people who are successful integrate to their lives that make them successful, that you think, wow, I can relate that back to golf, or I can relate that to my life. So there's definitely a lot that he brought. I mean, the passion is what he really brought, and just about how important it is to be part of a team, and not necessarily be part of a team, but make your team better for future generations, and be accountable to the number on the back of your shirt, and what that particularly means in their sport, so that the next number 5 has something to look up to and has a role model. And so obviously that can be very much easily transferred to our team this week, in the sense of every single one of us has an honor to represent ourselves and the team in the best way possible, and leave it in a better place for the next team in 2 years' time.
Straight ahead, number 2.
Justin, all the American players in this week have been talking about having more ownership this year, different vibe this year, doing more of the things that Europe's been doing this year. Do you get a sense of that, reading stuff, or does your team worry about them finally catching up and with all the ideas that Team Europe has had?
I don't know if they're catching up with us on our ideas. I mean, I think that each team has to be unique and they have to be true to themselves. So that's what they need to figure out. And that's, if they're figuring that out, then that's obviously then they're doing a good job. But it does sound like they're enjoying it, and at the end of the day, this all should be fun. It should be 12 guys getting together and having a good time, and that is probably the way to play good golf. But it's I think Europe's very comfortable in the way we do things, and we're not necessarily looking across the road to see what's going on the red side of the clubhouse. We're very much focused on our role and our job, and the only way to win a Ryder Cup is to deliver on the golf course, and I think everybody realizes that. And there's been a lot of talk prior, and I think that's when Friday becomes a fun day, because it's time just to play golf, and we feel comfortable with our preparation, and I'm sure they feel comfortable with their preparation, and it's just going to be great to get on the golf course on Friday.
Let's go to 4 and then 1. 4.
Justin, I'm wondering whether Darren asked you to pack the gold medal this week as an example of more European pride in the team room?
And a way of annoying Henrik Stenson. So, no, listen, it's not something that I'm touting around, not at all. I think this week is, you know, Danny doesn't have the green jacket in the team room. Roy doesn't have the FedEx Cup in the team room. I think this is about the Ryder Cup and that little gold trophy. And that's enough for us all this week. Yeah, it's nice to have belief in your teammates that they can stand up to pressure and they can deliver on the big stage. And I think that's what the gold medal and the green jacket and the FedEx Cup and Henrik's claret jug, that's what they represent. They represent that we're guys who can play our best golf when it counts, but we're after that little gold trophy. We're not after anything else this week, or we're not about any of the other victories that the team have enjoyed all year long.
One right in the front.
Hey, Justin. Justin, I believe your dad had the chance to watch you here shortly before he passed away in the PGA. Obviously, it's a special week, and he's always in your thoughts anyway. But does it make it a little bit more special when you come back here? And what are your memories of that week in 2002?
Yeah, funnily enough, it's a golf course I don't really remember that well, having played it twice, 02 and 09. But yesterday, funnily you should say that, I was kind of out on the golf course and I kind of just gazed off into the distance, and there's some nice open views on this golf course, but with some wooded trees. And I definitely have a memory, and I think it's more from a photograph that I have of a friend who gave it to my mum. It's a picture of my dad under some of those trees on the back nine of the golf course, and it just has a title, Happy Days. So, obviously that was a fond memory and something that actually hit me yesterday. And, there's definitely inspiration I can draw from that as well. And, like you say, I do think about my dad a lot, especially when it comes to moments like this, because these are moments that he would love to have been a part of. So, yeah, absolutely. So it's a nice, it's a nice source of energy for me this week.
Nice. Number 2, please.
Along those same lines, Justin, from 2014 Ryder Cup, are there any particular shots or memories you have of your performance at Glen Eagles?
I just think overall I felt very comfortable with my game. I made some putts at Glen Eagles. That was the key. I had a great week on the golf course. I think 4 points out of 5. So that's always a good week. But that only comes about through a good partner. We were talking about pairing up strongly. So we'll see how that plays out this year. But your role every single year is different, and sometimes it might be you're earning points, and in other years it might be you are lending your support in other ways. So a successful Ryder Cup campaign doesn't always have to be about how many points you put on the board. I think that's the team mentality. You need to do whatever's right for the team on the week. So, but from my own personal performance last year at Glen Eagles, or 2 years ago at Glen Eagles, it was more about making putts. That is my overriding memory.
Number 4, Jerry.
Hey, Justin, how do you think Arnie's death is going to affect the spirit of this Ryder Cup? And do you think it's going to inspire the Americans, or was he enough of a universal figure that's going to kind of equally affect both teams?
Well, he's certainly a universal figure. Everybody, I hope he inspires this Ryder Cup to be all about good teamwork, fair play, good camaraderie amongst both teams, good fun camaraderie amongst all the fans, because that's what Arnie stood for. He was a people's person from what I could see. He would always stop for kids, autographs, he would sign, he would give his time, he would give himself to so many people. So, he left the game of golf in such a great place from that point of view, that I hope that's what really we all take out of the Ryder Cup, from his passing, and how we can implement that into this Ryder Cup, because he was such a gentleman, I feel, and he'd love to see it continue to be played in that way.
1 and then 2. 1, please.
Yeah, Justin, we don't know the pairings yet, but if you and Henrik were to be asked to lead out Team Europe together on Friday morning, we think that's a responsibility that you'd both relish.
Well, that's the responsibility we had, I think, at Glen Eagles. I think we were first out, so that's an honour for any team, for any pairing, and sure, if that's the way it plays out, of course. There's going to be 12 guys and 6 pairings or 4 pairings that are going to say exactly the same thing. So, we're still in the stages where we're tweaking pairings and thinking about strategy and how that might look, and, not being obvious about things and stuff like that. So, but absolutely, it'd be a huge honor, as it would for everybody in this team.
Number 2, Martin.
Justin, having 4 players in the team room that have won 4 of the big events this year, plus being the defending champions of the Ryder Cup. Do you think you're the favorites?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really buy into the favorite tagline, or certainly I don't necessarily buy into the underdog tagline. I just think it's about getting to the first tee Friday prepared. I think that, you know, all the favorite and the underdog is just it's arbitrary. You know, it's about, I think we got players who can step up and deliver, is what that tells me about the tournaments that they've won. And to win this week, you're going to have to step up and deliver. Pretty simple. So it gives me a lot of confidence in my team. I think that I don't look at us as 6 players who have played the Ryder Cup and 6 rookies. I look at us as a 12-man team, and it's just about going out and producing our best golf, and I think that's what's going to take care of business, obviously.
Okay, we're going to wrap it up right there. Justin, thanks for your time. Enjoy
Cool.
your week,
Thank you, guys.
please.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey, enjoy
All right.
the week.
Yeah,
Okay?
thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Good luck.